This podcast contains adult language, descriptions of violence, sexual references, and other possibly offensive themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to this episode of Back to the Story, where friends come together to play Dungeons and Dragons. I'll be your DM, Klouse. Let's get started.
If anyone can talk a Balgarth out of a fight, it's you.
If anyone can keep us alive, it's you.
But if you ask me what my calling would be, I'd say that of a defender of my friends.
You don't need to change anything.
I would give my life to see them through.
I apparently only get into trouble when I'm around you lot.
I never want to have that kind of power over somebody.
She lands upon the deck, but just on her toes, like a dancer, like a ballet dancer, as if the weight of sin has yet to fall on her shoulders.
And the light of nature will be brought to them.
We haven't done this before. Does that make us professional?
That would make you amateurs at best.
At best, I like that.
I've had a hard time finding answers in my life.
I'm glad I'm here too.
Where are you from, Ezekiel?
Wherever your wife goes when she dreams, and I'll walk away.
Fuck you and fuck your will.
There's no redemption for the likes of you.
You were never loved as a child.
How do you want to do this? Awesome. Well, you guys ready to jump in? So previously, as the Bronze Scales made their way across the Sea of Orn, on their pilgrimage to the holy city of Nymunet, they found themselves upon the tundra island of Westrin, discovering a beast of Duma called the Shadow Lynx. The group investigated into the woods, slaying the creature. You were escorted to Fort Woodengrad, where you presented the body to the nobility of Whiteguard and Queen Isadilla Wolthrath. After being interrogated on your backgrounds and the purpose on the island, the Scales were offered a hefty reward with a string attached. That string being not mentioning what the Shadow Lynx reverted into after being killed, the form of a red-haired halfling. Leaving the Ivory Reach district, Meli heard the news of Orcesis and his fate, and there was great tension over Kalvyn and the curse of the Valgreth. The next day, Ezekiel took ball fishing, catching several fish before throwing them back to nature. Several members went spending their recent influx of coin as Ball and the Golden Elf Nambra flirted at the docks. Vesper went with Meli to the Sanctorium of Ain to see about destroying the glyph skull, and Kalvyn took his vows under the sun, seeing a vision of a beacon surrounded by wailing shadows and becoming a luminant of Valisol. We pick up here with the last few hours of the sun beginning its slow descent into the western sea of Orn. Most of you have gathered upon the ship, the Selefalum. So Vesper is currently in the temple praying. I think the rest of you have gathered on the ship, as well as Ball, because a few hours before sundown, before meeting Nambra. What would you like to do?
I think I'm still praying in the temple.
Okay.
So I'm doing that.
Amsen is still on the boat. I think he's on the deck of the boat now, just waiting for people to come back.
Okay, so a bit of time passes and eventually everyone makes it back to the boat. Vesper, an hour or two goes by, and she's still praying silently at the altar. And are you with her by the altar?
Yeah.
Okay, so in that case, because the skull can be brought into the circle, an acolyte is just it's been put
Meli
sack
had
and
taken
she's
it
sitting there.
back.
Oh, Meli took the
I
skull
have
back?
it.
Yeah, with the holy water vials.
Oh, I misunderstood. Okay. So Meli,
she
you
gave
have
us
the skull.
holy water, and Meli took the skull and the holy water and is bringing it back in the morning.
Got you. Okay. I thought you were leaving it there. Okay. So Vesper, you're praying with her still as the sun begins to fall into night. And Meli, a few minutes go by and you eventually make it back to the ship. If there's nothing in particular you guys are doing, Meli?
I wanted to do something, but it might get me in trouble.
Oh, good. Here we go.
I want to find Amsen and ask if he can inspire me.
You can make it back to the ship where you see Amsen standing on the top deck.
Okay. I'll walk up to him and just be like, "Hi, Amsen."
Hi, Meli. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good. Just waiting for everyone to get back.
Vesper might be a while. She's praying. I was wondering if you would inspire me so I could... I'm trying to research some stuff, and I was wondering if you could inspire me, because then I would do a better job at researching.
You need a little bit of encouragement.
Yes, please.
All right, let's see here. And I want to tell you, dear Meli, you're the greatest of wizards, dear friend. When monsters come to attack us, they with your spells you'll rend.
Thank you. And then I will just go and try and find somewhere where no one else is.
Alright, have fun. I'll be here if you need anything, and I'll just keep plucking away at my loot.
Okay, so Meli, where are you going? You're currently at the docks. There's lots of ships around. There's a few warehouses, a few taverns here and there, and then the city proper as you go north.
Do I know if this ship has just a room? It's like on its own?
You were brought downstairs. There seem to be side rooms.
Okay, I'll just find a side room.
Okay. You go downstairs. You find Ezekiel, who's down there with Orzana. And there's a side room. It looks like two rooms that apparently people pay more to have a private room instead of just the hammocks.
Can I sneak into one of them if they look unoccupied?
Okay. Are you trying to sneak to where Ezekiel doesn't notice you?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a stealth check.
Okay. Oh, that didn't roll anything. Okay, well, fuck me then. Oh, it's a 9. There we go.
So you come downstairs and you notice Ezekiel's there, and he actually doesn't look up for you until you try to start sneaking, and that's when he looks up at you and narrows his eyes. May I help you? You look like you might be searching for something.
I was, but it's in this room. I know where it is. Thank you.
Do you go inside the room?
Yeah.
Okay. The door isn't locked. It is an empty room. Simple bed, simple small table that's nailed to the wall and to the floor. A chair or two.
Okay. I will shut the door and sit on the chair and pull the skull out. And I'm gonna try and talk to it. I'm going to... It'll be fine. I'm gonna just ask how it got in its current situation of being a skull that's trying to open a portal to the Shadow Realm.
Give me appealing to this entity. Give me a persuasion check. I said personality check, which is almost not the same thing.
12.
Appealing to it this way, you ask your question. Doesn't seem to be any initial response or glowing or anything like that. So the skull is just placed on the table and moving.
I will cast Identify on it again then.
Okay. Casting Identify, placing the skull, pulling out your pearl, and using the pearl to expand your vision into the magical energies that enchant these glyphs and rooms. You see beyond the simple physical, organic structure of bone and into the energies that make up the enchantment beneath. Your vision almost goes tunnel vision. Everything else seems to blacken and darken around you to where all you really see is the skull in front of you. You see the glyphs and the runes, and they begin to make sense. There's patterns, there's lines connecting them, telling you which steps go first and second and third. But it's a complex ritual. To open the portal, you must place your finger on the rune of shadow, and you feel a sensation trying to force your way, your finger or your wand, to a particular glyph on the front forehead section of the skull. Do you comply? Or do you resist?
I'm gonna resist.
Okay. Make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, 24.
Yeah, you hold your hand back. You've heard the order before and shrug it off a second time. And the instructions go quiet. For a moment, another. And then you hear a voice altered this time. Why do you toy with me? If you seek power, follow the instructions.
Because I don't seek power, I just want to know why you want to open the portal and why you became a skull.
Questions. Their answers are too long. I was once like you. Ilthero was my name. I sought to use my power. But others do not like to share. There's power beyond your grasp, beyond mine. If you follow my instructions, you may understand. First, collect an ounce of shadow salt, or convert it. Then you can open the portal.
But why are we opening the portal? What does it do? I know it goes to the other realm, but, like, why? Do you want to go there?
This world was ruined. It was fallen. We seek to restore its glory, to bring light once more.
I'm not gonna help you do that. Sorry.
Your incompetence bores me. Bring me to one more knowledgeable than you.
I think that would take me a while to find someone more knowledgeable than me. And then I'm just gonna put it back in my bag.
Okay.
And then I'm just gonna try and walk out really casually so that, hoping Ezekiel hasn't been listening.
Were you talking to something, dear?
Just myself. I just like to talk to myself when I'm on my own, because...
Uh-huh. But being as Ezekiel isn't here, he doesn't push the issue.
Cool, I'm gonna go upstairs.
Okay. Alright. Jumping back to Vesper. After a few hours of prayer and the night, the sun falling into night, Vivian eventually comes out of her silent prayer. By now, a lot of the wounded have either left or have been moved into other rooms where they've been closed for the night. There's not many acolytes left walking about, just a few cleaning up and preparing for the next day. But she comes out of her trance and kind of turns to you. We will have to wait till the sun rises to see if she's answered our prayers.
All right. Well, thank you, I guess, for this.
I get up and rub my knees.
Bring it here tomorrow. We shall do what we can.
Okay. And she's the one who's going to help me learn how to channel my magic. Or magic, I guess.
You follow the
Mm-hmm.
and some she guides with words and guardians, and through them power is channeled, divine power of redemption. It is through her that you might be a tool of this redemption.
Great. Well, I should probably go. It's late.
She nods, circles back, and gets back in prayer position. It's quiet. You hear the trickling of the water surrounding the circle. You hear the few steps here and there of other acolytes moving, but it's quiet. As you take your leave, stepping out into the city, the initial stepping out, there's almost a shock of the sound of the city. You adjust to it and realize the city isn't very loud, but there's a numbing of sound within the temple. And you can now hear people yelling, laughing jovially, moving to taverns or the clomping of horses or carts, a city alive, even as the sun has fallen, as you begin to make your way back to the boat. Paul, Ezekiel comes and finds you wherever you are, and pulls you aside. I just thought I'd give you a little pep talk for tonight. And he casts a few spells on you.
Okay, and that will help me swim?
Well, they should, hopefully. He casts a long strider on you, so your speed is increased by 10 feet. He casts enhance ability with the power of the bear, advantage on constitution checks. And I have one more prepared for you, should these clouds persist. As he looks up, and there's a kind of storm clouds that have been slowly building, darkening the sky all day, and are now thick over the night sky.
What other spell? What do you mean?
Why don't you just meet Nambra, and we'll see.
Okay. Thanks, Ezekiel.
He nods. And do you go find Nambra?
Yeah, I assume, is it like kind of time? Is it that time?
The sunset, yeah, it's that time.
Ball's just like sitting there staring at the sun, waiting for the very second that it sets and then sprints over. Is it like that kind of a thing? No, I think, yeah, like maybe, I don't think Ball's particularly rushing, but just like maybe after Ezekiel gives him that little pep talk, he notices that the sun's just about to set, so he gets ready and goes to find her.
And by get ready, do you take off your armor, or do you want to wear it?
Well, I think I'll take my sword with me.
Okay.
Because that's what I do, but I said I was going to go without armor, so that way I could finally win a race. So okay. I'll go without armor and just bring my sword.
Okay. You go down to the dock and you meet Nambra, and she's wearing the same thing most golden elves wear, which is like very little, like yoga pants and a vest, a swimming vest, things you could swim in very easily. She also has like a small backpack, very small, where it looks, you can hear the clanking of bottles as she pulls one out and kind of pops the top and takes a few sips before putting it back. You ready?
Like Ball will do a few stretches. Like, yes, I think I'm going to win this time.
She mimics you doing the stretches, like exaggeratingly so. She's probably never stretched before in her life. She is limber, though. You guys move kind of to the docks and then towards the east, as far as the docks go, towards the east. You see that shoreline? We're going to go there. And she points to the distance. It's maybe a mile?
Is that a far distance to swim?
It's a decently far distance to swim.
Is that where we're racing to?
Oh, yeah. Are you scared?
No, I just want to know.
All right, then. And she kind of scoots up to the edge, puts her fingers on the edge of the dock, like divers do when they're getting ready for a race. You ready?
Yeah, I think I'll, like, mimic her actions here, since she's probably a pro at the whole swimming thing, so if she's doing some kind of actions, probably it'll help me swim, so I'll do the same thing.
Okay, so as soon as you put your fingers on the deck, she says, go, and she jumps into the water. You do the same, splashing in. Your splash is a lot larger than hers is, but you'll begin swimming through the waves that are kind of coming into the shore. Give me an athletics check.
That enhanceability is not for athletics, right?
It's for con checks.
Con checks, okay, perfect. It's a 16.
Okay, so the speed, the wind on your arms from Ezekiel's spell is kind of getting to where you catch up from her, since she kind of jumped a little ahead of you, and you actually catch up to her and begin pulling away. She's a fast swimmer, but you manage to keep pace with her and gain a little bit on her. Swimming through these waves, you kind of roll up and down, swimming up and over them, or at least she is. You try to do the same, but you're a little heavier, and so you're more cutting through, forcing your way through with brute force. About halfway through, that's when you start feeling winded. Give me a constitution check. This is at advantage because of the strength of the bear.
That's a 14.
Okay, so you notice like she actually begins to fall behind just a bit further, feeling tired from this extended race here. You've gone about half a mile. The shoreline is beginning to come into resolution. You can start to see the few stones, the evergreen trees, bushes. as well as the waves kind of rolling over those boulders and the sandy beach of the shoreline. And give me an athletics check.
That's a 24.
Okay.
Now, if it does look like I'm doing way better than she is, then Ball will kind of intentionally slow down a bit. Still definitely ahead, but not so she's eating my dust.
Okay. So you start to pace ahead about at the halfway mark as your ability to endure, keep swimming when you're tired, surpasses hers. You notice, though, when you start to pull up, you look behind her and it almost seems like she's been holding back. And she suddenly kicks it into high gear and starts, instead of swimming freestyle, almost goes into a butterfly action, kind of swimming in and out like a dolphin, outstretched shoulders, swimming through the waves. And she quickly catches up to you. You're maybe 100, 60, 50, 40, 30 feet from the shoreline. One last athletics check as you're kind of neck and neck.
So I just picture it like, Ball's like, oh, like I'm kicking her ass, and like starts to slow down, and the second he starts slowing down, like she goes into like Super Saiyan swim mode.
Basically.
And you said one more athletics check?
Yeah.
Natural 20.
Okay. And she rolled a 5. So even with, you notice as she catches up, golden elves are natural swimmers. She's nearly double your swimming speed. But in this last leg of the race, after being tired, after her drinking rum, after the invigoration of your excitement, you push forward, just slamming your way through these waves and feeling the sand on your hands. So you dig in and lift yourself up, kind of running past the waves and onto the shore first. She's behind you by 15, 20 feet, coming onto the shore.
I'll act exhausted. Like, I gave it all I got. So Ball just kind of, makes it and then just kind of like falls to his knees and is catching his breath.
Not bad. She kind of huffs, breathing in, sucking air, sitting on her butt beside you. She immediately pulls out a bottle of that salt rum. As she opens it, you can kind of smell the salt and the limey mixture. And she immediately begins to drink it as quickly as she can.
Have we had that? Like, have we tried that yet, or is that?
A few of you had. She hands the bottle to you, obviously. And as you take it down, it kind of tastes like a margarita. And it actually is a little bit chilled, strangely enough.
Better than I thought.
Not as good as this. And she begins pulling in her bag for something. And as she does, you're kind of looking on your back at the sky. And you can see the kind of clouds rolling overhead. And even that instinctual feeling, an ability you've had since you were a child, you can kind of sense storm, rain, lightning, thunder. It's rolling in. You can kind of hear the gentle growl of the sky as the night kind of goes on. She pulls out another vial, a different one, smaller. She uncorks it and kind of almost pushes it into your mouth. Drink this. You drink it down?
I'll try to, before I do, give it a whiff. What is it? Someone's throwing it in my face, and I just kind of stop for a second and I try to smell it first.
So taking it from her hands and pulling it up to your nose to smell what it smells like. You smell it smells kind of like iron, actually.
I think instead of taking a big gulp, I'll just kind of smell it and then do a little taste test.
Yeah, taste irony. You can feel the grains of something hard in there. Like little pieces of iron or something solid.
Does it? I assume if something tastes irony, it probably doesn't taste that great. So, I'll probably Ball will start to hand it back to her and say, I think I like the other one better. What is this?
It's gonna help. Finish it, and we can have some more of this. And she tries to tip the bottle to where it pours into your mouth. Small vial.
Has she had any of this, or she just wants me to drink it?
She has not had this.
Are you sure? You should try it. It's not that great. How about I drink the other one?
She shakes her head, and she kind of looks at you. You need to drink it. Otherwise, it's not going to be as fun.
I don't trust her as much as I trusted Meli when Meli told me to drink or eat the apple.
She says, trust me.
Okay, I think Ball will reach for the other like the rum drink, and then basically like wash it down with rum.
Okay. So you swirl the last bit of the iron, the half of the vial, finish it off, and then chase it with some of the salt rum. After you finish it, she takes the empty vial from it and kind of just throws it away. Good. And a few seconds later, you start to feel strange as you kind of sit up, as you're kind of passing back and forth this bottle, and you feel a strange sensation come over your arms and a strange, almost creaking pain come over your bones. And there's as you see your perspective suddenly shift, as the 10'2" ball becomes 5'1", as your size suddenly goes from large to medium, and you weigh an eighth of what you normally weigh, so half a ton to 150 pounds or so. She's not incredibly tall, but she's like 5'7", so she now has about half a foot on you.
I'd like to think it's like, as I'm shrinking, like it's that thing where Ball's like starting to feel the effects, and then he looks over, he's like, "What did you make me do?" And then like as he's saying the words, he's shrinking, and his voice is getting maybe a little less deep.
And as your voice, the pitch falsettos, she jumps on you, and her form forms a silhouette, the sky clouded, as you see a shape in the clouds form, like two massive wings. Football field 100, 200 feet wide, this wingspan of clouds that rushes along the cloud formations, pushing them away, revealing behind them as the clouds are removed a night of stars and a bluish silver half moon, a crescent kind of shifted into the smiling position. As this clears, you can kind of hear the tide rolling in and out, in and out, in and out. And that fades to black. The rest of you, back on the ship, are you guys doing anything in particular as kind of night falls and you're waiting on Ball to return?
I think Vesper shows back up and she looks maybe a little bit grumpy.
Amsen will be on the deck of the ship still, playing his lute.
Evening. How are you?
I'm alright. How are you?
I'm tired and my knees are bruised, and I didn't really get much the answers that I wanted, but whatever.
Well, you're here now. Ball went to go with his friend.
Oh, did he?
Mm-hmm.
And how long have they been gone?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Whatever, he's an adult, it's not my business. Alright. Well, are you going to bed? Going to bed soon?
Might stay up a bit more, and then I'll come to bed. But I'm just going to, I don't know, I might wait for Ball to come back. Either that or, I don't know, just wait till I get tired. Looks like
company?
Cool. I don't mind. I was just gonna play a little bit more and, maybe do some writing or something, I don't know.
Well, I've got nothing to do besides sleep, and that can wait.
Fair enough.
I'll settle next to Amsen.
And you're just on the top deck of the ship?
Yes.
Okay. The waves kind of roll under the ship, swaying it from side to side as Amsen plays his lute.
Eventually Vesper might kind of fall asleep, maybe leaning on him a little.
He'll just keep playing.
Okay. So as the night kind of goes on, you eat, you relax, you listen to music, and stop me if there's anything you want to do, as always. Gets to be 3 or 3.5 hours. Ball's still not back. Ball, you had a really good time. It's been a couple hours. After a little while, you eventually reverted to your normal size. You'll finish maybe a bottle and a half between you of the salt rum, and now we're just kind of relaxing against a tree on the coast, on the beach. She's knocked out. She's asleep.
I think, Ball's probably just, it's still like, it's nighttime basically, right? So Ball's just...
Yeah, it's maybe midnight or something.
Yeah, I think, is it still like a starry night, or did Ezekiel's little magic trick fade?
Looks like it's still starry for now. You can see a few more clouds beginning the process of reforming, but they haven't quite gotten to thunderstorm status yet.
Okay, I think Ball's just kind of, like with doesn't know he's smiling and is just looking out at the stars.
Okay. Enjoying the moment. Some time passes, however long you wish it. Do you eventually find sleep there or go back?
Yeah, I think Ball will stay there. Ball's not really afraid to be outside, and she seems to know her way around the water, so.
Okay. So spending the night there upon the beach. The rest of you, if there isn't anything else, you guys eventually will find sleep.
I think seeing that there's a storm coming in, I'm going to wait until at least it starts.
Okay. A few hours go by. Around midnight or so, if you stay up that late, the clouds begin to reform again. It's a slow process, but they do begin to kind of roll in, slowly building.
And I think I'm just going to sit there and watch for a while.
Okay. You watch as these clouds slowly begin to form, getting larger, darker. The wind begins to pick up. The waves don't quite reach storm status, but the waves do, you notice, get larger. The ship rocks greater as the storm is slowly building. Amsen and Vesper, are you guys still sleeping above deck?
Probably at some point, Amsen would have woken up Vesper when he got close to falling asleep, and then going back downstairs, especially if it looks like it's going to be raining tonight.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you guys eventually find rest. Ellory, you notice the wind picks up. A moment goes by where you feel the wind suddenly and rapidly breezes by your face, almost violently so, before it fades almost as quickly as it came. Meli, are you sleeping? Where did you find rest?
Yeah, I probably just went to bed.
Okay. So finding sleep in various hammocks, you find rest. Some of you have dreams, some of you don't. When you guys hear a sudden crashing, a loud sound. As you open your eyes and begin to look around, it's dark. Those of you without dark vision can't really see anything, but you hear noise.
I'll cast light on my holy symbol.
You begin to do so as this moment is quickly happening. You're reaching for your symbol to do so. Amsen and Ellory's up deck. Ellory's up deck. So Amsen, Kalvyn, and Ezekiel, as you kind of open your eyes and just initially look around, you see a sack that is tipped upside down and things are just falling out of it. Various things, including a black or a ivory skull with blackened runes and glyphs. And as it hits the ground, you see it begins to lift up into the air slowly.
I would like to grab my spear and chunk it.
Kalvyn, you begin to reach towards your spear, and there was a sudden slamming upon. So Meli had the bag. So I assume Meli and Vesper, would they be closest to the bag?
Yeah.
Okay. So Meli, a 21 to hit.
Yep.
And a natural 20. The first hit takes 12 bludgeoning damage as you are slammed. The second hit
and
comes
I would
down.
like to use my reaction to cutting words of damage on the crit.
Okay.
So
20 damage.
-4.
So down to 16 damage on that second hit. Just slamming out of nowhere, Meli. You open your eyes and it's just black. All the candles have been put out as y'all have gone to sleep. Just slam. The hammock is broken as you fall to the ground. You're just a few feet above it. Vesper. 17 to hit?
I assume I'm not in armor.
I would assume not.
So then definitely.
Okay. Another natural 20.
Jesus Christ.
10 bludgeoning on the first.
Okay.
19 bludgeoning on the crit.
Oh my god.
And I need all of you to roll initiative.
Do I roll a wisdom save, even though I don't have the rapier on me?
You actually do have it on you, and yes.
Okay. Well, that's not great. It's a 9 for that.
And then, as always, after you roll initiative and have it in the chat, be back at 9:05. You guys have a few seconds as I set up initiative. You may not need it since it's so early, but it's offered.
What are those initiative rolls?
They're so terrible.
So bad. My dice were going so well before we started, and now they're like betraying me.
Kalvyn's is like the only good one.
I mean, I'm also in the double digits, but
Guys,
True.
It's barely.
Just about.
4 natural 20s so far.
You need to stop.
I never roll this many.
Serious?
Stop, please.
You're done.
Player or
It's
DM
over.
side, I never roll
It's your
this many.
quota. You're done.
Been dealing with devils.
Apparently.
Wow, this is a cheat.
I never cheat. So that will bring us up to that. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay. Sorry, Ball, you're having the time of your life, but your friends are not. So on this ship, as it rocks back and forth, as you're suddenly woken up, Meli and Vesper have probably multiple ribs broken as something has just slammed down upon them. And as you're looking around trying to find out, see what's going on, there's a shimmer of bluish spectral light that appears. It shimmers and begins to coalesce into a form. You see Sunder long floating about a foot above the ground, feet without shoes hanging, dangling there gracefully. You see in a dress partially torn, long hair kind of flowing back. You see severe scars upon the skull, upon the neck, the throat itself. You see a attractive female form, one you recognize. As you see this form turn towards you, the form still coalescing into something you recognize. And you see the woman and she speaks, and you recognize the voice. Foolish child, you shouldn't interfere with the will. As you see, she raises her hand, and then there's a coalescing of chains that begin to form in her hand. And yeah, she does this. As she does this, her jaw unhinges as she lets out a wail. This loud, piercing scream, mournful and painful, lets out. And I need everybody to make a Constitution saving throw.
Does that include me above deck?
It doesn't include you, Ellory, but now is when you hear a sudden scream.
Okay.
A terrifying, horrible, otherworldly, reverberating scream. So, Kalvyn, you hear this pain and you take 14 psychic damage as you hear this wailing scream of pain. You can sense almost fear building in yourself, but your resolve strengthens. Vesper, you hear it and you black out. You go unconscious and are reduced to 0 hit points. Amsen, you take the same amount of psychic damage as Kalvyn did. I think I said 14.
That's what I wrote down.
Meli, you black out as well, going unconscious. And that will bring us to this one. So those of you who are still conscious, actually I need to roll for Ezekiel. Ezekiel blacks out, falls unconscious. As several just fall unconscious, reduced to 0 hit points, the skull floats into the air and is pulled over towards the spectral figure, the bansheed form of Eliza, who takes the skull in her left hand. You see chains of spectral arcane energy just wrapping around her right arm as she just kind of looks around to strike. That brings us up to you, Kalvyn.
Who you said she's about to strike? Who is she about to strike?
You just saw her scream, and then the skull floats towards her. She takes it, and she's just prepared to act.
Oh, okay.
She's kind of looking around defensively.
Well, then...
But you see Meli, Ezekiel, Vesper are all unconscious on the ground, bleeding from their ears.
Could I get to anybody if I wanted to, like, at this point?
You could. It's a small room. You could get to everyone.
I want to pick up my shield, and Tits McGee, I would probably run to Meli to dump lay on hands.
Okay, so Meli's literally right there, so you can just reach her from where you
Then
are.
I
Just
would-
get out of the hammock, put on the shield, hands on her.
Yep, lay on hands, dump 20 points of that.
Okay, so sunlight streams from your fingertips as Meli suddenly breathe in conscious again to the world.
Thank you.
And I will. Yeah, that's all that's all I got. That would have taken a standard action to lay on hands, so I will kind of post up in a defensive manner, trying to defend whoever I can. Kind of step up in front of everybody else, or in front of the Banshee.
Okay, so as you do that, there's a sudden 20 to hit you.
Yeah, 20, okay, yeah.
And a 17 to hit.
Both of those will hit.
Okay. 19 bludgeoning damage. It suddenly just slams against your shield and your body beneath it. Coming from nowhere, you see no attacker. And that will bring us up to Amsen.
I need to roll a death save. I have 11 initiative.
You do.
Okay, that's an 18.
Okay.
What action is it to administer a potion to somebody?
And Amsen, it is an action to administer a potion to someone else.
Okay. So then I'll cast 3rd level healing word on Ezekiel. That's not bad. That is 11 points of healing for Ezekiel. And then I will take out my potion of healing that I have and give it to Vesper. Oh, okay. So 2d4 plus 2 for Vesper, that is 10 for Vesper. And that's my turn.
Okay, so Ezekiel on the ground, kind of his eyes, green and pearlescent, open once more as you shove the potion in Vesper's mouth. That'll bring us up to Ellory. You're above deck and you hear this mournful wail coming from below deck.
I'm running towards where the others were apparently were sleeping.
Okay, so with a 30-foot 60 dashing, you can run to the stairs, go down it, and you're probably just at the foot of the stairs using your full action and movement. So you still have your bonus. You're kind of at the foot of the stairs. You see the back of a spectral form and some of your friends wounded.
I don't really have anything I can do as a bonus action, so I guess that's it.
Okay, that will bring us up to Meli. You're conscious on your back.
Can I use half my movement to stand up?
Yeah, so you stand up 15 foot left on that.
Okay. And there's a floating person right in front of us?
Yeah, like 10 feet away from you, there's a spectral banshee ghost floating.
I'm just going to throw a ray of frost at her and see if that does anything.
Okay.
21
Standing, conjuring, that will hit. Good, no damage.
That's 8 damage if it does anything.
So as the shard of ice from your frostbolt flies through towards her, it passes through her form, slamming at the wall behind her, right next to where Ellory has just come downstairs, seeming to have no effect whatsoever on her.
Okay. Well, that's my turn.
Okay, that would bring us up to Ezekiel. Oh no, he was prepped for prepping ball, not a fight. Okay, so he's going to run up to her and Shillelagh Smite. Awesome. That'll hit. And Smite will probably dump a level 2 in there, I'm guessing. That's what I would do. Okay. So Ezekiel, quickly standing up, sprinting over to the spectral form, takes his staff that's nearby his hammock and begins to wail it onto the spectral form. As he is in mid-strike, these blooms begin to form upon the staff as it slams into her, and a sort of light greenish light begins to form over it as it slams into her form. She does not like that at all, but she's still standing. And that will bring us up to Eliza. Taking the hit. Let's see what she's going to do. I'm just going to roll and decide what move she makes. Okay. So, having the skull in one hand and these chains forming in the other, she launches those chains at Ezekiel, who's right there. That is a 10. So the chains actually rush towards Ezekiel, who ducks under them. She goes for it again, and she tries to pull them back to hit them on the way back, and he shifts over to the side. And as the chains just kind of quickly strike, Ezekiel dodging both of them. She is then going to
George says if he's not wearing armor, his default AC is 9. So a 10 would have hit since we were asleep.
Okay. So in that case, the chain hits, dealing 16 necrotic damage. As Ezekiel falls unconscious with these spectral chains wrapped around him, and as his body begins to fall limp and fall away from her, she pulls him closer. As she pulls him up closer to him, she takes her other arm and kind of motions his head up closer to hers. You see her jaw unhinge, and you see Ezekiel's face blur as the life is being pulled from him and into the Banshee, taking, and I'm going to roll this in the chat because that's a lot. Thank God Ezekiel has a good hit point maximum, because that was close to it. You see Ezekiel's arms, his veins disappear, those that were sticking out. You see his hair graze immediately. You can see the muscle on his arms and shoulders and back just wither away until it's nothing but taut skin upon flesh. The chains drop as Ezekiel falls to the ground unconscious once more. And then she fades, moving through the ground. And that will bring us up to these others. There's a shift, a sound of wind and breeze. And that will then bring us up to Kalvyn.
Well, this went according to plan. Kalvyn will grab his holy symbol and mutter a small prayer, probably not an official prayer of any sort, just something that he's basically begging for some light, and he will draw the darkness using his channel divinity.
And remind me what that does again.
You present your holy symbol and speak a prayer compelling fiends or an undead to focus on your sacred presence. Each fiend or undead within 30 feet of you who can hear or see you must make a wisdom saving throw or become drawn upon failure for up to 1 minute. A drawn creature has disadvantage to attack. Any creature other than you must make a wisdom saving throw each time it attempts to move a space more than 30 feet away from you.
Okay. So just as the spectral form of Eliza disappears below the floor, the wooden floor of the deck, Kalvyn grabs a symbol, speaking words of prayer as a light emits, like sunlight, from his form, shining upon the entire room for a brief moment. A few moments go by and there's no initial reaction.
Yeah, I don't have it. That's a standard action, so I am stuck.
Okay. So shield up, just looking, seeing what's happening. That will bring us up to Vesper.
I don't see anything around us.
You see nothing.
Otherwise,
There's a constant sound of wind in this room, but you don't see anything.
Then I'm going to rush to Ezekiel. I'm going to cast Cure Wounds at 2nd level.
Okay.
There should be 7 plus... Not awesome on the first one. 17 points back to Ezekiel.
Okay. So on death's door, he kind of breathes in once more. Some of the mass coming to his flesh, some of the color returning to his hair. He's still in rough shape, but he's conscious. Did you say 17 points of healing?
Yes.
Goddamn life clerics. Okay. He's alive.
Great. Yeah. I'm going to rush to my stuff. I'm going to grab my shield at least and have that.
Okay. So you can at least put on your shield. And Amsen.
Okay, this is going to be fun. So I'm going to move just a couple steps closer to where Eliza disappeared. I'm going to use my bonus action to inspire Vesper. This one is going to be fun as he sings, "Whoa, I feel good. The spells really do now. I feel good. Vesper's gonna heal now. So good, so good, I need you." And then I'm gonna use my action to prep a Hideous Laughter so that if I see Eliza, I'm going to cast Hideous Laughter on her.
Okay. So singing this upbeat funk song before prepping the Hideous Laughter in your hands and mind, that will bring us up to Ellory. So you're at the foot of the stairs. You just watched as the spectral figure disappeared below the wood, and you see several of your friends heavily wounded, but all seem to be alive at this moment.
So from my previous explorations of the ship, Would I know if there's a way below from where we are now?
There's a hatch directly to the right of you. There's a few crates there and a hatch to below deck. It's not you can't stand. It's just kind of for storage or other purposes.
I'm going to run to that, open it up, shout to the others down here. How far away is it from me? It's like right next to me?
It's maybe 20 feet from you.
20
feet.
You
can run 20 feet to get to the hatch.
Okay.
You can swing it open, and as you see, there's kind of a ladder downstairs.
Yeah, I'm going to go down there and see if I can spot Eliza.
Okay, so using your
or
last
anything else.
10 feet of movement after opening the hatch, you can go down just a bit as you're climbing down, and you can see the blue spectral form of Eliza kind of floating there as she hears the sudden hatch to the right and turning her head towards you. You are stubborn, aren't you?
So was opening the hatch, was that...
That's just an interaction.
An interaction, okay.
It wasn't locked.
So I am going to go ahead and cast Chaos Bolt at her.
Okay.
See how that goes. Okay, that, 21 total to hit.
Yeah, that hits as you conjure this orb of flashing light, rapidly cycling between the colors of the rainbow, releasing it, shrieking towards her.
Okay, so that 16 points of, let's go with psychic damage.
It strikes into her, and you see her almost shudder for a moment, before kind of shaking it off, adjusting her form, and sort of a condescending, turning her nose up at you.
And I think that is it.
Really, dear, there's not much you can do to me anymore. And that will bring us up to Meli.
I don't think I'd have been able to see Ellory go down that hatch. Would I have been able to figure it out?
You saw Ellory ran to the right. You heard a slamming something. But you saw Eliza in spectral form go straight down through the floor. You saw Ellory or someone silhouetted form run down. You heard Ellory's voice probably say, fuck. And then sprint to the right, and you heard clamoring of noise.
Okay, then I will try and chase after her.
Okay. So running that way, you can just turn around the corner where you see a bunch of crates, boxes, and barrels, and an open hatch. And it took you about 30 feet to get there.
Can I dash as my action?
You can dash, yeah. So dashing forward, you kind of stumble your way forward, kind of in the dark, see a hatch, and you look down and you see Ellory kind of halfway down on this ladder. You can kind of squat down a little bit to catch the sound of Eliza as she speaks to Ellory.
Could I pull out the holy water as a bonus action?
I'll say
just getting ready to.
You could pull it out, yes, since you're just moving. Yeah. So you pull out the holy water. Ezekiel, conscious once more after taking his life force drained from him, from a kiss of death, stands up at least and begins to move in the direction where Meli and Ellory are. With half of his movement, he can dash and definitely get in the area, but it's kind of a clustered area. It's a pretty small hatch. Ellory's there, and then Meli's there. So he's kind of right at the edge of all that.
Zeke will bless and go animal form as direwolf.
Okay, so suddenly taking up a large portion of the ship in the direwolf form after blessing as wind wraps around. I assume Ellory, Meli, since they're the closest, and we'll say Kalvyn. And that will bring us up to Eliza. Well, it's been fun. It really has. Let this be a lesson to you, not to fuck with the will. Y'all have a good night. And she begins to slowly back away. And as she does, she just moves an inch at a time as her form kind of fades away and disappears.
What happened to the skull? Is it incorporeal in her grasp?
Those of you that can see it now, the skull seems to fade with her since she possesses it. That brings us up to Kalvyn.
Kalvyn will rush down to see where everybody else has gone, or at least Ellory and Meli and Zeke, and I guess...
Where'd she go?
So as Kalvyn kind of runs up, we're kind of taking her out of combat at this point, as Eliza is gone, and you others can see that as well.
Is anyone else hurt?
I'm just glaring into the darkness. What the fuck just happened?
Probably should have left the skull at the temple.
I may have pissed it off.
How?
I spoke to it last night.
Meli!
I thought it'd be better if we knew what its motives were, so...
To open a portal to the Shadowfell. We already had that conversation. Yeah, but I wanted to know why. Doesn't matter why.
Yes!
They're evil bastards. That's it.
But it's good to know why they're doing it, what the end goal is. Because if they do manage to do it, you know how to stop them, you know what they want.
Did you learn anything?
Yes.
Great.
They wanted to open it because they want to bring back the light. But I wasn't exactly sure what you meant. He called me incompetent and told me to get someone smarter than myself. So, and then I put him back in the bag.
Fuck.
Okay, well, I need to set my ribs, so does anyone else need healing first?
I'm a bit bruised, but I'm looking okay. There are other people who took a lot more than I did.
Look him and Zeke. How bad off does he look?
He has 17 from last healed out of 40.
Alright. I will use my healer's feat for Ezekiel then. Which is 1d6 plus 4 plus 5 plus 5. So 13 more to him. And then I'm going to do the same to myself.
Okay. And as you're kind of patching up here, that sound of breeze and wind that's been in this room fades.
So now what?
I am assuming at this point that I've climbed back up. Did you learn anything at the temple?
Just that we were supposed to bring it back in the morning.
Oh, great.
So that's going to be fantastic.
I wonder if she would have been able to get in if it was left at the temple instead.
Well, we couldn't bring the skull over running water around the altar.
What does that mean?
It's holy water. I'm assuming that has something to do with it. But I don't know.
Sure seems to me like we're fucking with stuff that's way beyond what we know how to handle.
I have to go back to the temple in the morning. I can tell her what happened.
I guess the important thing right now is everyone okay?
I guess.
Does Ezekiel still look aged?
He looks rough. Not all of his hair has returned to normal. He looks rough. It's hard to tell. He definitely doesn't look like his normal self.
How does Orizana seem, since she was down here, I'm assuming?
She's in the corner, just backed up as far into the other corner as she could get.
Okay. I'm gonna go over to her. Are you okay? Are you hurt?
I'm fine. And she kind of gets to her feet, just kind of hands over her stomach. And as she does, and there's kind of a sound as you turn around and you see the golden elf glaive out, just looking around. What's going on?
Unfortunately,
he looks and sees like some of you are wounded. By what? Where?
No, it's gone.
It's what?
There was a ghost. It was this woman we killed. She came back and was all, y'all fucked with the wrong will, and beat us up pretty good and then ran away. I think we scared her. Pretty sure that's what happened.
Yeah, looks like it. Are you sure it's gone?
I think it got what it wanted.
Another golden elf comes down with a weapon, a long spear. I think it's okay, but stay alert. The other golden elf nods and then kind of goes back upstairs. We'll increase our watch. But if you have enemies, we can't have you endangering the rest of us. Why was this creature after you? Will it be coming back?
I believe it was looking for an item, which, when she left, she got. So, she shouldn't be coming back.
Roll a persuasion check.
Okay.
And you've seen this guy before. He's kind of grizzled, a few scars, wears heavier armor than the rest. Looks like he's been a mercenary or something for a while. He's normally very accommodating, but this look now is pretty serious. His people are in danger.
I rolled decently, but I'm going to use luck anyways, which wasn't better. So, 22.
Okay. You can stay. but you gotta be upfront. If it is coming back, if there are others, you have to let us know. There are a few of us watchers. We can help. But we
A lot
can't
of
go
this
in
stuff
blind.
just seems to come out of nowhere. It's like we don't even expecting it. So maybe I don't think we can let you know in advance. It's more like, hey, surprise, we all came to the party at the same time.
All right, I'll talk to the captain about this. He starts to say something and then just closes his mouth and shakes his head and goes back to top deck.
Welcome back, Meli.
Thank you.
Oh, we
It's
seem
good to be back.
get into all sorts of trouble. Everyone doing okay?
I'm a bit sore still, but I should be alright. I'm more worried about Ezekiel.
Yeah. Where's Ball?
Oh, fuck.
Did he not come back?
Look around. I guess not.
I mean, I'm kind of glad he's not in danger from that immediately. I'm gonna go see if anyone's seen him.
I'll come with you.
Okay.
So going up, asking around, no one has seen Ball or Nambra since they left a little after sunset. They do tell you that they swam in that direction, pointing to the east, a coast about a mile away.
I'm sure he's fine. Be back in the morning.
Yeah, as long as he's with someone.
If he's not back in the morning, then we'll worry.
That's right.
Okay.
So as you kind of cure your wounds, you can take a short rest if you want to before going back to bed, returning to your long rest. Waking in the morning, none of your hit points return, but your hit dies restore completely. In the morning, if you need to take another short rest, kind of with breakfast. As Ball, you wake up with Nambra on the coast. And as that morning is rising for all of you, we'll go ahead and take a break, and we'll be back at maybe not 10, that seems late. Maybe like 9:55. Can we do that? Okay.
Sounds good.
Next time on Back to the Story.
He looks smaller, withered, compared to what he once was.
I'm sorry I wasn't here.
I just wanted to say sorry for getting mad at you the other day. I understand why you did it.
Do you have any recommendations on how to find her?
That is another question entirely. Well, I told you had a few questions for me. My time is limited. He pulls out from his sack looks like a timer.
For part 2 of this episode of Back to the Story, you can find it on Stitcher, Google Play, Player FM, or TuneIn. If you'd like to support the show, feel free to buy us a coffee at ko-fi.com/backtothestory.